Hello, my name is Ralph Watson, and like most Americans, I am proud to be a citizen of the lone superpower in the world today. However, if unchecked, that pride can slip into arrogance, thinking that only America has any good ideas. For example, have you heard that people in Australia pay off their 30-year mortgages in about 10 years? The fact is, the most Aussies are paying over $100,000 less in mortgage interest than the average American. Now, that is not because Australians are smarter than Americans or that they make so much more money than we do. It is simply because they have different banking laws. As you well know, here in America, we have a checking account, which is really a spending account, a savings account, and a mortgage. All of them separate accounts having no effect on each other. By contrast, in Australia, if you had a $200,000 mortgage and a $25,000 savings account, your mortgage is offset by the savings account, and you would only pay interest on the difference of $175,000. That makes a huge impact on the life of the loan. It could literally knock 12 years off the life of the typical mortgage. Not only that, but it encourages the Aussies to save, something which we Americans are notoriously weak at doing. But think for a moment. If every dollar you put into a savings account reduced the amount of principal accruing interest, wouldn't you be encouraged to save? Of course you would. But this is not only working in Australia. The Bank of Scotland has a similar program working in the United Kingdom. So why isn't it here in the good old US of A? Well, the short answer is that our banking laws don't favor such a strategy. But I will tell you in a few minutes about a strategy that has the same effect as the other systems. But first, I want you to allow me to share some personal thoughts with you. Have you ever thought of what you would do if you didn't have a mortgage payment? Well, I have to confess to you that ever since I took out my first mortgage, I have. I can tell you right now that I would put up more money for my children's education. My wife and I would travel to places we've talked about for years. I would give more to my church and go on mission trips to Africa. I would help people I know who want to do well but have had a hard go. I would drive a later model car and have a beach house. I've tasted a little of what that would be like when I paid off a car note. It was hallelujah time. Another $250 to $300 per month, tax-free. I bet you've had that experience as well. Now just take that feeling and multiply it by a factor of 10. How about an additional $1,000 a month for life? That's better than betting on the lottery. Unfortunately, we've been conditioned over the years to believe that a mortgage is a life sentence, and there's basically nothing we can do to get out of that mortgage prison. Well, I have some great news. Right now, today, there's hope. There's currently a strategy available today that can knock a 30-year mortgage down to about 10 years without refinancing or paying additional money out of your cash flow toward the principal, and only for pennies a day. But before you can appreciate the power of this strategy, you will have to embrace what amounts to a total paradigm shift in how you look at and manage your money. First, a reality check. We cannot change the banking laws of the United States of America. Agreed? Good. However, we can use those banking laws to set up our own system so that those laws and the banker's math works for us. That's what you need to focus on for the next few minutes. Just for that amount of time, I want you to erase any negative thoughts you may have about something that seems too good to be true and open your mind up to greater understanding. This is going to be interactive. I'm going to ask you some questions you need to be ready to answer for yourself. Ready? Okay, here we go. We've already agreed that we cannot change the banking laws of the U.S., but pretend for a moment that you had the power to create the perfect banking account. What would it look like? May I suggest it would be a unified account? That is, your checking account and your savings account would be tied to the equity in your home and your mortgage all in one account. Think for a moment how that would work. First, if you had a home equity line of credit set up so that you could write checks on it, you could do away with your traditional checking account that pays you no interest but is separate so that it can do you no good other than provide a ready source of funds to pay your bills. Then you could take all your savings and pay down the principal on your home mortgage because you could get it back as easily as writing a check. And the effect of eliminating home mortgage interest rate is far greater than any savings rate you can find anywhere. You see, one of the strongest emotions we humans have is fear. We know we should put that bonus or tax refund against our mortgage, but we're afraid that if we were to do that and then later need that money, it's simply gone, unless we go down to the bank, beg to get it back with a second mortgage or a home equity line of credit. The reason we can't get our money back if we prepay our mortgage is that a mortgage is a closed-end loan. That means it's set up on an amortization schedule and that only full payments are credited once a month. It also means that it's a one-way street. Money goes in, but it doesn't come back. If you send in your mortgage payment 10 days early, you don't get any credit for early payment. The bank simply prospers more. On the other hand, a home equity line of credit is an open-ended loan. Money deposited is credited that day and interest charges reflect that payment. It is also a two-way street. You can put money in, take money out, just like a traditional checking account. So having a checking account as part of your home equity line of credit takes fear off the table and allows you to make principal payments to your primary mortgage, knowing that you can access that money if you need to for an emergency or for any other reason. Can you see the power behind this super unified account? It would be like having the equity in your home always available as your checking account balance. And you know what? You can already do that. There are U.S. banks that already have advanced home equity lines of credit that will allow you to set up this arrangement. But how does that help chop a 30-year mortgage down to half or a third? That happens with the way you use this super unified account. Time for another reality check. You cannot have a positive or credit balance in your home equity line of credit. This is a credit account, much like a credit card. If you overpay your credit card, they will simply send you the balance back. That means you cannot just open a home equity line of credit and start putting your income into it. There must be a negative balance in the home equity line of credit. That is, you must owe it some money. Now, if our objective is to pay off our primary mortgage quickly, how do you think we're going to get a negative balance in our home equity line of credit to get all this started? Right. We're going to borrow some money from the home equity line of credit and pay toward our primary mortgage. Then as we deposit money, the bank will recognize that as payments toward our outstanding home equity line of credit balance and will reduce the negative balance. That also means there is no scheduled repayment required by the home equity line of credit. Now, if you've been paying attention, at this point it should seem like we're simply robbing from Peter to pay Paul. And until you actually have a free analysis run on your own home mortgage, it will continue to look like that a bit. However, let me attempt to demonstrate how you are really robbing the bank to pay yourself. First, I want you to take a close look at the effect paying down your mortgage has on the life of your loan. I can best illustrate this with a very simple example. Suppose you took out a $200,000 30-year loan at 6%, but at closing, Aunt Matilda gave you a one-time gift of $5,000 to put down so that effectively you were only financing $195,000. The effect of that one-time payment to the principal would be to cut 4.7 years off the repayment schedule. In hard dollars, that would be a savings of $28,304. So by borrowing a few $1,000s from your home equity line of credit every once in a while and paying it back on an open-ended loan with favorable interest rates, you're able to force massive reductions in mortgage interest rate and get the title of your house in record time. You may have heard that people who understand interest collect it, and those who don't pay it. It is high time for you and me to stop paying interest and start collecting it. Don't you agree? A second illustration I want you to think about with me involves a particular financial strategy that demonstrates how this arrangement allows you to use the bank's money to reduce your debt. Suppose you made $5,000 a month, but you had a credit card that you could use to pay all of your bills. Now consider what would happen if you deposited your payroll check in your savings account on the first day of the month, and for the rest of that month you charged everything on that credit card. And I mean everything. Now when the credit card statement arrived, if you took the money out of your savings account and paid off that credit card at the end of the month, how much interest would the credit card company charge you? That's right, nothing. But would the money you put in savings have earned interest? Of course it would. You see how you use the bank's rules and the bank's money to actually make money? How cool is that? Way cool. That is essentially how the super unified HELOC account works. Where you see a credit card account is also an open-ended loan. And the longer you keep money in that account, the more interest it cancels against your mortgage. I could spend a lot of time right now going through sample mortgage numbers for real and prototypical people, but the only way you will ever know the true impact this program has for you is to get a free analysis completed on your own financial situation using your own mortgage information. Did you notice I have not said one word about refinancing or sending in extra money with your mortgage payments? This system works without impacting the quality of your lifestyle. Get your financial house in order. Own your home free and clear. You have nothing to lose but a life sentence in mortgage prison. Thank you.